some people are naturally talented at their skills, such as singing, songwriting, performing, public speaking, or talking to a camera, and I am not one of those people. For me, it's taking lots and lots of work, years of dedication, focusing on it every single day, and focusing on it more and more each day, trying to get better and better. And I've come off as cringe for most of my journey as a singer, songwriter, and performer, and now vegan activist for the past 5 years. And I don't care, because what keeps me going is my love for the craft, number one. And what's great is whenever the bar is set so low, because people see you as incredibly cringe with no talent, and then you actually do something that's decent or pretty good, then it blows them away. And it's very inspiring. It shows people that if you are determined and you stay focused and you ignore the fact that you look cringe to everybody else and you just do what you love, you will get better and you will do amazing things. And it's great, although it can be very painful at times. And I understand that, you know, especially whenever I first started being ZmanTheVegan and performing on MU campus, it was pretty cringe. Now, like inspiring and positive at times, because a lot of people would like come by and be like, yeah, and like tell me like, wow, you actually brighten up my day, thank you. And they like dance to the music and like get into it, and that's great. At that point, I'd already had like 5 to 7 years of performing and songwriting, so I was at least decent. But the actual get up and everything, and the whole character, and still my voice and music was very niche, so it comes off as very cringe or just being bad just because it's different. And that's something I had to get used to over and over again, is people laughing as they saw me or heard my music, people laughing at me. Like very, very, very obvious they were laughing at me, and they would even say things, you know, in that tone of voice, like that high schooler tone of voice where there's a group of people making fun of you. And I'm not sure if I've been desensitized by it or I've just kind of focused on it so much and realized what it is and how much it really doesn't matter. Like, that's all people who are hurt, and they're projecting their insecurities onto you. And some of them even do it in the form of criticism. They'll be like, hey, you want to do this and that because what you're doing isn't working, you're wasting your time. And those people, you know, they're just sad that they don't have, or that they're not as determined as you are. They're not putting in the work, and they don't have as much courage to go out there and do what you're doing, which is going to be obviously cringe to other people. It's going to make you outcasted, make you seem weird, and will be very painful. And now, some of that criticism does actually help, and even if they're projecting their insecurities onto you and they're saying stuff, that can help too. But some of that criticism is valid. Like, you know, I sang it out of pitch, or my songs are very niche and like, and were and still are pretty preachy. So it's not gonna hit the mainstream, or many of my songs will not, because either I still sing it out of tune, it's just the melody and the lyrics aren't catchy enough, or it's very preachy and nobody wants to be preached about veganism. People already hate vegans enough, and in general, and that's because of the preachiness that you know, that's the way people see it. They're being preached to. It's not valid. And but that's one of the main things I wanted to tackle with my art, music, and the character that I created as Z-Man, was to be able to preach to people, but do it in an entertaining way to where it actually gets them to think, where they don't feel so personally attacked. And sometimes I've been successful at that, it's much easier in person whenever I can respond to people and give them the like good vibes. Um, Although recently, the past couple of years, I've had a couple instances where I've actually given them attitude back, but like with like witty humor, and it kind of works too. But I think the number one thing that works as far as my goal of trying to break down the cringiness of veganism and people feeling attacked through my music is just showing people respect and being funny, but not in a way that brings anybody else down, and still being confident, and then also making my music better, creating better and better music, getting better at my craft. And yeah, so I don't care that people think that I'm cringe, and they still think that I'm cringe. um, and or it's hard to tell really sometimes, because like I've been doing these songs for so long, and some of them I think they're pretty good, and I it might just be that people aren't used to my voice. It's not it's kind of like Louis Armstrong, is that his name, the guy that sings "What a Wonderful World"? Like his voice is very different. And if he wasn't famous and nobody ever heard "What a Wonderful World," they'd be like, "Oh, who is this guy and his voice?" Like, it's very different. And I think my voice is like that at times. But at the same time, I got to take a step back and be like, no, maybe you just suck. But at the same time, sometimes I think my voice is like, it's kind of vanilla sometimes. Like if I'm hitting my falsetto, and that's pretty good. And I hit pretty good like high notes with falsetto. And so it makes me think that a lot of these people commenting and just saying hurtful things are just people that don't like the message that I stand for. So they're going to try to bring me down any way that they can. So the first thing they do, even before listening to probably the first 5 seconds, is, "Oh, you suck," or make a laughing emoji because they're laughing at me. And same thing with the people I saw in person, especially whenever I was first doing activism as a vegan superhero, was groups of college kids would come by and laugh and like whisper to each other or say stuff like, "I'm gonna go eat a burger," and stuff like that. And you know, they're not doing that necessarily because I suck so bad. They're doing that because I'm making them feel bad about themselves. And either that's because I have the courage to do what I love, even if I look cringe to other people, because I look different, or because I have a message that does not align with their worldview. Whatever it is, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to get better at it, get better at inspiring other people to live more compassionate, fulfilling lives, to chase their dreams, to be nicer to all beings. Stop being such dicks. For the animals! Woo!